to CNET's Cracking Open. I'm Jason Heiner with Bill Detweiler, and today we're cracking open the Amazon Fire Cube. So Bill, tell us about what Amazon's done with this device and why we're cracking it open, what we're going to do today.
Yeah, this is really cool because what Amazon has done is they've taken their really popular Alexa service and their Echo devices and basically merged it together with their Fire TV devices. And this device not only lets you control the television via voice commands, but some of your other components. And so we thought it would be a really cool idea to take this apart to see what technology is inside it and to see how it does that. Also, as a bonus, I have an Amazon Fire TV stick and an Amazon Fire TV, a third generation one here. I thought we could take those apart as well and compare the technology inside them to what's inside the Fire TV Cube.
Very good.
Yeah, so let's take this thing apart here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the rubber base. You can just, there's some double-sided tape on the rubber base, so if we slip a tool in here and work our way around it, we can pop this off fairly easily, like so. And so we get our first look at the speaker inside the box, and there are 4 Torx screws down in there. We're going to go ahead and remove those. All right, with the screws loose, we are going to turn this over and allow the screws to come out. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws and 4 washers. It's always a good idea whenever we're taking things apart to try and keep track of your screws and keep track of what goes in what position. With the screws out, we can now lift out the guts, the internal components of the device, away from the plastic shell. And so there we go. We have our first look inside the Fire TV Cube. Also down in here, we see the speaker assembly. There are no wires connecting the speaker. If we flip this over, we can take the speaker out. The speaker here is for Alexa's feedback that you get. Obviously, the audio that comes from your signal, your streaming signal, would come out of your TV or your AV receiver, whatever you have. And there are no wires. I found this really interesting. There is just a contact there that connects the speaker to the internal components. And now we turn our attention to the main components here. We have a pair of circuit boards, one on the bottom, which has the inputs here, the power inputs, the HDMI outputs, the IR blaster output. And then we have a USB output here that goes with it has Wi-Fi, but you can use it with an Ethernet network adapter. We see these small little cables here that connect the two boards. These are likely antenna cables, and then there's a flat cable here that connects the boards. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. So Jason, now that we have the Amazon Fire TV Cube out of its case, we can kind of see one of the ways that the device can control your other components, right? So it can control your AV receiver, it can control your TV through the HDMI port if your devices support that. But for devices that are not connected through an HDMI cable, it can use infrared. So it has a series of these IR blasters all around the device.
Look at all of them.
Yeah, so it can sort of it sort of bathe the area around it in an IR signal, and that allows it to control things like your cable TV box, other devices maybe that don't necessarily, that aren't connected directly to it with an HDMI cable.
So Bill, you couldn't just put this on top of your device, right? You would have to put it next to it or slightly in front of it. Or you'd have to arrange it.
Positioning is important with this device. For devices that may be in a cabinet, for devices that aren't close to it, if you want to set it behind the device and the signal can't reach the front of the device or wherever their receiver is, they actually do have a little extender here that connects to the bottom of it. I actually had to use this. I've been using the device for about a week, and I had to use this for my cable box. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna I'm gonna keep disassembling this device. We're gonna take the circuit board off. We're gonna separate the control board at the top, and we'll see what's inside this metal body part of it here too. Whenever we're taking these devices apart, we try to be really careful and not break any of the cables or the connectors. Flip this around like this. I think I can disconnect this cable from there. Okay. I don't like to yank cables. There we go. So now we can see inside here, there's nothing inside the space. And we can see the cable is attached here with some adhesive. So we have to be, that's why we're real careful not to separate, not to force those, remove them. We don't see any screws holding on the circuit board here at the bottom. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and see if we can't, probably just some adhesive, and it just pops loose. There was some thermal, a little bit of thermal cushioning here. More screws. And so here what we can see are the contacts for the control buttons on the top usually, and I can remove the little rubber buttons themselves and we can see the contacts, and we can, for the control buttons we can see the LEDs. The button over here we can see the row of LEDs. There's a blue light that appears, you know, a multicolor light that can appear on the first of this or the front of the device, and here are the LEDs here. Now we'll turn our attention back over to the circuit board here, and we'll see if we can't remove the metal shields. These are RF electromagnetic metal shields. Oh, and they fly off if you're not careful. All right, there. And now we get our first look at the chips underneath.
All right, Bill, so we've got everything apart, the Amazon Fire TV Cube and a couple of the other Amazon devices. Tell us what we're looking at and what we learned.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see the technology that makes a Fire TV an Alexa-enabled device and kind of like an Echo. So what you're holding is the Fire TV stick and the Fire TV, a third generation Fire TV, and you can really see the similarities in the chips. They're basically almost identical on the third generation Fire TV and the Fire TV Cube. It's got an AM logic processor, it's an S905Z, and the one difference is the Fire TV Cube has twice as much storage as the Fire TV. This one has a SanDisk chip in it for the storage. What's really interesting is you can see the progression of the technology from the Fire TV stick to the Fire TV to the Fire TV Cube, and we can see the technology that is required to sort of make this like an Echo, an Alexa-enabled device without using the remote. So it's really cool to see that.
All right, so you have seen it, the Amazon Fire TV Cube cracked open. Find all of our cracking opens on CNET, all of our cracking open photos on sister site Tech Republic. And if you have a device that you'd like to see us crack open next, leave us a note in the comments. We're always looking for new stuff to break apart, to learn about, and to share our insights with you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.